Hi, I'm Rachel McLeod, and I am a licensed clinical social worker and emotional wellness and success coach. And today I'm going to talk about how to use reminiscing and fantasizing to really create a huge breakthrough in your life. When I am working with people, I have three objectives. One, eliminate symptoms of anxiety, depression, traumatic stress. Two, clear unconscious blocks and limitations. And three, align people's lives with the life of their dreams, so that their inner world with that, their inner function with the ability to create the life that they really want to be living. And so that's really my three objectives. I have lots of symptom strategies and processes to get there, but and this is one of them. And I was racking my brain today. What am I going to go live about? What am I going to go live about? And I have had several conversations today, and I had a friend text me, and and then I knew that this today we're doing this. About reminiscing and fantasizing. These are really awesome, and they can be really disturbing to people because the brain is an unlimited place, and some of the fantasies and reminiscings that the fantasies that you can experience are out of this world, uncharacteristic of you, have nothing to do with your values, and sometimes they can be really scary, sometimes they can be really evil, sometimes they can be really horrible, sexual, awful, difficult to manage, difficult to acknowledge, and difficult to be present with, right? And then if we can't be present with them, then we start running, we start avoiding, and we start fighting these fantasies, and that can really keep us stuck. And I'm going to tell you why. And then with reminiscing, it's a very similar function, a little bit different, but nonetheless, there's still, your body is trying to send you messages, and the parts of your brain don't just say, hey, they don't write you letters and put it in the mailbox. They don't send you nice little image and nice little messages in your mind where you get the exact words. You get messages in the form of that brain's ability to communicate with you. And so when you say, I don't want to see that fantasy, you're telling your subconscious mind, who wants to tell you all these stories, say, I can't, I'm not hearing you. I don't want to hear you. Stop it. And you might feel guilty. And so you're separating from that story. You're doing everything you can not to hear that story. Or you're letting that story distract you, or you're giving it a place in your life that it does not need. And so, and it can really just derail you, distract you, or lead you down wrong paths if you do not work with this and grab it and use it for what it's for. And let me tell you what this is for. And I do see at this point, I had these two ideas together, reminiscing and fantasizing, but different, they're two different parts of the brain. And I really want to talk about the fantasizing part. But reminiscing really can have a fantasy effect. So we'll see what happens. I'll try to cover both. If I don't, I'm going to just erase the title and we'll talk about just fantasizing. And then I'll do one on reminiscing another time, because that's one that can really bother people as well. Because the things that they're reminiscing about may be really uncomfortable for them or violate their boundaries, create internal conflict. Like if you're reminiscing on past relationships while you're in a relationship, that can be really distressing to you because you're like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just be here? And so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go down the route first of fantasizing. Let me tell you about this. So your subconscious mind, it's this is the part of your brain that's where your programming is. It's not a thinking center. It's not a problem solving center. It's very unlimited. There are no rules back here in your subconscious mind. There, it is unlimited. It does not understand that this is a curtain, right? And that there, you can't just walk through it invisibly. It doesn't get that stuff. That's a function of a different part of the brain. And so with your subconscious mind, there are no rules, there are no regulations. It's not a moral center, it's not a value center. And so anything and everything that goes on back there is unlimited. And so, but and fantastical, and that's where your imagination is. You want this part of the brain to do what it's doing. You want it to function and do its thing. It's just that you want to be able to get along with it and help it out when it's asking for help. And so what happens is when your subconscious mind needs some assistance, um, or when it needs to create stuff for you and it doesn't have something, or it wants to help you find a way out of something or ease pain or things like that, it'll start sending you stories and messages. And one of these is fantasies. If you are fantasizing, if you just got in this big fight with your spouse and you are fantasizing about scalping them and hanging their dreads on the little antenna on your car and watching their dreads flap in the wind as you drive along through town, I have never had that fantasy. Um, so if that's the one you're having, that is your subconscious mind is telling you a lot of things. Number one, it's saying, hey, we're really mad. There's a lot of emotion back here. We need to move that stuff up. So let me tell you the story, and I'll tell you how good it feels to just feel terror, like you are just evil. And if you can do that with it and go with that without assigning meaning to yourself that I'm evil or I'm terrible, look how bad I am, you can have your subconscious mind is on board with we're mad and we are hot enough to scalp people. And so let me tell you, with this, if you can use an intervention, you will take that emotion that's back in the back and you will help move it forward to the front of the brain where that part of the brain can release it and can really make sense of it, and it can really convert it into something that you can actually use, and this will be part of what your brain makes in your next solutions. Now, just because you have that fantasy does not mean you will scalp somebody. Okay, but let me tell you what, if you don't move that fantasy from the back of your brain where it's generating emotion and and it needs to come up and out, if it just stays back there, you could end up scalping somebody. And I don't recommend that because that is not going to give you a huge breakthrough. That's going to give you a huge problem in your life and in your relationships. And so that emotion, your brain and body is working together, and that subconscious mind, that subconscious part, it really it the only way it can resolve its issues is if it can bring it to the front of the brain and make you aware of its issues. So in that story, if it can get that to the front of the brain, which it will come in your awareness, but with it comes all this emotion, right, coming behind it. And if you can feel that emotion, you're not comfortable with it, as it starts to come into your awareness, you will do things to snap it back so that thing goes out and all the emotion that's with it. And you will stay stuck because that emotion will stay in the back part of your brain, fuel the back part of your brain, which is the animal part of your brain. And then you, oh, sorry. I got a text. Hold on, a message. Oh, she's gonna text me more. um, she's the friend that sent me a message about this. Anyway, that emotion has to come through. It has to make it through because what's back here is your survival system. And if that emotion builds and builds and builds and builds back here and doesn't make it through, bad things happen. You or your animal part of you that has no morals, that has no values, that has no parts that, I mean, that's not what that function of the brain's for. It's just survival. It doesn't consider anybody else. That part starts fueling. And the next thing you know, you're doing things that you'll regret and that will disturb you. But if but the other thing that you can understand about fantasizing is if you are fantasizing something and you're into it and you're just like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Your brain has found a creative way outlet for you to play with something without the stuck emotion that you're currently experiencing in life. Like let's say you're stuck right on something, you're not making progress in your business that you want, you're not painting the paintings that you want, you're not having the relationship success that you want, and you're just stuck. You will notice your subconscious mind fantasizing, and if it can get your attention, it can really lead you out here to all the things you like and that feel really, really, really good. And all of a sudden you're not in that stuck emotion piece, and you're out here and you're exploring ideas, and you're building neural pathways out here, and you're having the chemical reactions that take place out here, and you're tuning your system to this. And that's really, really nice because when you come out of here, that energy, that of the fantasy, especially if you're using an intervention with it and you're really pulling that up, that will inform the decisions that you're making. And so in this case, this fantasy really has helped you find new solutions, new ideas. And so those sorts of things, sometimes they can make us feel guilty, but sometimes if we can just sit in them long enough and do the emotional work of bringing that emotion from the front to the back, playing along with it, we are playing with our subconscious mind. We are engaging it. A lot of times we think that we're just supposed to be the one telling it what to do. We're supposed to be envisioning our goals, my income goals, my this goals. We're supposed to be doing that. And we're supposed to be sending information. I get that and do that. But there's also, it communicates back to you. It tells you, hey, I need some help with this stuff. Or, hey, you know what? I know you're trying to go through it from this direction, but what if we did it like this? What if we thought about these things? And you can ride with it and go where it's going, right? And now that's really a fun, wonderful thing, right? So we're tapping with that. You don't even need to tap with that a lot of times when it's the good stuff. But if you're starting to fantasize about stuff like harming other people, or you're having intrusive thoughts, or about violent things, or you're having thoughts that it would be better if I didn't wake up tomorrow, and you're fantasizing about that, this can still be part of something that gives you a huge breakthrough. Okay. If you're starting to have those kinds of feelings and thoughts about not waking up tomorrow, or maybe crashing your business or ripping up your painting, you can, that there is emotion in there that needs to come up and needs to come out. If you can be with that and be using an intervention with that, you can get that emotion all the way up. And all of a sudden your brain is like, oh, I get it. And it will help you find new solutions and go. And then that function, that story isn't needed anymore. This is exactly how I help people overcome suicidal thoughts. This is exactly how I help people find new solutions to what they're looking for. There is always information in the fantasies that your brain is actually looking for, and that it really can't find it in any other way. And it's interesting because it's like you, you're like, I want to reach this goal, I want to reach this goal, I want to reach this goal, and your subconscious mind is like sending you these messages, and the goal, that the piece that you're looking for, is in there, and you're like, no, I gotta reach this goal, I gotta reach this goal, I gotta reach this goal. And then it's like, oh, this picture right here, no, I don't want to talk about that, I gotta reach this goal. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, if we can bring all these parts in, if you can bring your subconscious mind in and really communicate well and get that information and play along with it. I mean, some people really feel silly when they're doing this, but typically when I'm working with them and they do it and they see the results that they get, they're like, oh, okay, I don't feel so silly, or I still feel silly, but it's worth it. So play with that. Let's not be so afraid of these subconscious things and the stories that we're being told, even hard ones, even ones of, that you're too ashamed to talk about. If you can use one of these emotions with it, these emotions, if you can use an intervention with it, the intervention I equip people with when I am working with them is emotional freedom techniques, thought field therapy, energy medicine, and EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And with these ones, then you have the power to really be moving this emotion, and then you can really build a nice skill set to really engage these parts of your brain, really get, like, help. Okay, tell the story, put it on the table, let's look at it, and let's get the whole brain up in here. Survival system, what do you have to say about what just happened here? And body, how, what do you have to say? Everybody has information. Your conscious mind will participate here, and with this stuff all out here, all of a sudden your conscious brain's like, oh, we don't need that, we don't need this. We don't need this. Oh, look at this. We've been looking for this for a long time. And the body's like, I was looking for that. And the survival system, I was looking for that. And everybody's like, this is fabulous, and you're supporting that process. And it's feeling better and better and better and better because that emotional intensity is leaving. The shame is leaving because your conscious mind will get rid of that stuff. It will get rid of the terror and the horror and the sadness and the dread and the despair and that it's never going to work anyway and there's no use. We should just resign. We're never going to be good enough. I'm undeserving. I'm unworthy. Your brain, you'll watch your brain. Just get rid of that. I did a session today with somebody, and that was it. And afterwards, they were like, "I feel stronger." Yeah, yeah. You just dumped out a load of crap from your subconscious mind, right? And not only did you do that, but once that was gone, it was like your subconscious mind rearranged things. Your whole system and your physical body get an upgrade. So it's so worth learning how to work with these parts of your mind and your body and to be able to get the breakthrough that you are looking for. Many of these breakthroughs have are not conscious. They cannot be accessed consciously. And they come through they can be processed consciously if you will pay attention to the unconscious, which is hard, right? I mean that's really what I train people to do, is to hear and listen to what's going on in the unconscious, because you can pull it up at any time. Your body is constantly sending you information. Your subconscious mind is. I mean, do an exercise where you look at your hand for about a minute and just have no thoughts coming in and just stare at your hand and see what happens. Your subconscious mind is like, oh, a hand. Let me tell you, you'll start to see all these images and stories. I mean, your subconscious mind will throw information at you about anything and everything all day long, and it is. And you're just so used to it. Mostly we've tuned it out, because that's another part of our brain function, is we will tune out what we don't think is important or what doesn't match our belief system or what we're conditioned to tune out. And so some of that stuff is the stuff that we're tuning out is the very things we need to reach our goals and to heal and to overcome and to move up into our next level of personal growth and development. And so, but we've got it tuned out so we're not even seeing it. And really, that's a lot of the work I do to help people heal from symptoms. Like the symptoms, the answer to the symptoms is right there in your face all the time, which is interesting. I mean, eh, the, how the information about how to overcome panic attacks or unworthiness, it's right there. It is. I mean, it's right there. You just have to ask the right questions, and you just have to listen, and you have to know what you're listening for, and then bam, right there it is. you know and so and so you can write around you very quickly get what that missing piece that you need and plug it in. And guess what? If you're doing this work and you're listening to your brain and you're helping your brain out, your survival system and your subconscious mind, and you're doing all this emotional work and you're looking for this piece, all of a sudden when all of the emotional like chaos of the issue is resolved and it just becomes a thing and your mind is putting in all the pieces together nicely, and all of a sudden it'll be like, your brain will do this, right? We're missing a piece of this puzzle right here. And then everybody's in your inner world's like, yeah, yeah, that's totally true. And then it'll be like, hey, go send her after this. And your conscious mind will be like, that's a good idea. And the next thing you know, you're off and you're Googling and you're listening to this podcast and you're doing that. And all of a sudden your reticular activating system is now looking for that missing piece unconsciously. And all of a sudden, there it is, and you grab it, and your mind is like, good job. And there you go. And it goes in there. And then the whole piece comes together and you have leveled up. Your brain, you just have come to a new place where you are feeling the alignment. You're feeling ease, especially in the areas of where you were fantasizing. You're feeling the ease of subconscious alignment. You're feeling the flow of, oh my gosh, I couldn't paint before. I couldn't get my painting going. And now I can't stop painting. I can't tell you how many clients I have. One client who was like, I have written so many poems. Like we got her unblocked. And the next thing you know, she was flowing. And if I remember correctly, there was a subconscious conflict around it's not safe to be successful. And all of a sudden we were able to figure out where that was coming from, because your body is always telling you. Your subconscious mind is always telling you. For instance, the area in which you're stuck, if you will go there, right? If you're a painter and you're a painter and your easel's right here and you cannot get to your easel. If you go into your art room, right, like this, you step into your art room, you see your easel, and you pretend like you're going to get your paints out, and you walk towards your easel, and you're like, I'm gonna paint this thing. And all of a sudden, you get here, and it's, at some point, you're gonna run into your block, and it will hit you in your body first, probably. That's normally where people will start to notice it. And once it's in your body, it can be anywhere. I've had people that their hands will go numb, and I've had people that their stomach will drop out. Some people notice emotion like anxiety. And then as we look at that, we're finding we can tell us, like, tell us more specifics about this anxiety body. And next thing you know, your subconscious mind's like, ooh, me, and it'll be like, it'll send a story, and an image, and the next thing you know, it's these words are coming into your mind about this thing. And so you can really uncover the resistance and the subconscious, the inner conflict that you've got going on, just by noticing what's going on in your body. You can actually use your body to go to a first memory where that was there. You can resolve that at the origin using some of these interventions, where you bring these interventions work because they bring the whole brain together. Talk therapy. This is my sign for talk therapy. That's not ASL, I'm certain. But in talk therapy, you're talking about these things, but you're using the strategy of the thinking center. This then center uses words the rest of your brain does not. And so you're not bringing, when you do talk therapy or talk strategies, you're not using your whole brain to come together and resolve the issues. And so, but when the whole brain gets together, you have incredible teamwork in there. And you don't have people like sitting there. You don't want your subconscious. No, that's not the problem. This right here, the problem of this, is your survival system. You don't want it doing that. You want it saying, oh, okay, what's happening? What are we doing? What are we doing here? That's what you want. These interventions help put the survival system in that space, because most of the time the survival system's like, you go right on ahead. Talk about it if you want to. And it's not engaged and will not engage in the healing process. And that is the one that is the gatekeeper. And if that part of your brain is not happy, you're not getting the results that you want. You're not going to get the breakthrough. Once you get your survival system involved, it's the one that opens the door for the emotions to come through. It's the gatekeeper right there. This is the difference between the emotion staying in the back of the brain and the emotions coming through to the front of the brain, where it can be resolved. And whatever is moved through will also, if it's not released, it'll be matched up with your values and your morals and your beliefs and your goals and your aspirations. That's what that part of the brain does. And if you don't get the stuff from the back to the front, it can never go through that matching process. And if you've got stuff in there from when you were 10, your subconscious mind is like, please take this stuff. I can't work with this. I don't even know, like, this whole 10-year-old thing, we're 40 now, and it's not working. And so it'll constantly try to bring this up. You might start getting memories or dreams from when you were 10. And it's like, because it needs to bring it through the thinking center again. It might have worked at 10, but it needs to be updated and it needs to be rematched. Stuff needs to be released. We don't need this anymore. It was great then. It's not great now. And it needs to be matched up again with who you are now. And this is how, we're constantly outgrowing our subconscious programming. And when it gives us some fantasies, we can grab those fantasies up and use an intervention, pull them through the pathways again, and get them through all the parts of the brain and get that upgraded. And if your brain doesn't need it anymore, it will release it. But you've got to get it past the survival system. And that's why you want to use an intervention that works to engage that part of the brain and bring it into organization with the whole flow and resolving things. Because, like I was saying, you really can use fantasizing to create huge breakthroughs for you. And my friend texted me, who's watching this live, and she said that she told me her fantasy. It's with her business, and I've heard her say this before, and I've heard her say it 3 times, maybe 2, but I have watched her the whole time, not knowing. I wasn't like stalking her, right? No. We're in an intimate setting, and these fantasies, like this business fantasy, would come out. Each time she's had this fantasy, she has a huge upgrade. And so I text her back. It's like, you're having a big upgrade. It's happening. Buckle up, Buttercup. Because the subconscious minds use those avenues to really seek out new information and to really release bring stuff into you. If it can tell you a pleasing story, I mean, if it tries to engage you all the time, sometimes it's a scary story, sometimes it's pleasing, and if it can get you to pay attention to it, oh my gosh, one ingredient to really getting it through your healing pathways, and the upgrading process is there, which is attention and awareness. And then, but so many of us don't have the second ingredient, and sometimes you need it, especially if you got symptoms of anxiety, depression, traumatic stress. That's a sign that this process is blocked, and it's not, your brain's not doing its natural upgrading process on its own. And so that's why you really need to help it do its work to upgrade. A lot of times you don't need that much help and it's flowing. But if you've got stuff like that going on, or you're just in a stuck place in one of your goals, it's good to help your brain through this. And so, because of that, um, I have no idea where I was. But ultimately, what I'm saying is that this fantasy stuff is really, really important. And if you're feeling with it, you're that's what I was saying, that you need both ingredients. You need to help it through. And that's what I really substitute the interventions for, is because while you're fantasizing, and you're engaging, I mean, your subconscious mind is scoring because you're paying attention to it, and it's getting to ham it up and tell you this whole story about you over here in Hawaii with your feet crossed, and it's telling you all this stuff, and you're listening to it, you're engaged with it, you're paying attention to it. And then if you're using an intervention, it's moving, right? I want to use this again, the fantasies. Sometimes we're having really dark fantasies. That's a real thing, and it's still really powerful. And your brain, your subconscious mind, doesn't think this is a bad thing. It's not trying to harm you. It's not trying to make you a bad person. It's not trying to really violate your values. It doesn't have any rules. And so it doesn't feel limited to just follow your religion. It doesn't feel limited to follow your morals. It doesn't feel limited to like make sure the fantasies that come up are in line with what your mom would think would be good. It doesn't do any of that stuff. And so um sometimes we're sometimes we're afraid of what it's doing, and because we want to control it. But this part of the brain is so incredibly powerful. You do not want to control this part of the brain. You need to make peace with it and the fact that it can do anything and everything, and it does. You don't get to chop it up in little pieces and say, hey, you can only play with me when you talk nicely. It doesn't work like that. And you need to be able to hold space for it, and that takes some practice, and that it takes working through some emotion. And but that process can be really quick if you're using these interventions to really move that emotion. And really, when I'm working with people, reestablishing that connection with their subconscious mind is exactly one of the very first things we tackle, because that's we get all, like, your whole body knows how to heal. And if you can tune into it and listen to it, and you can hold space for it, all of a sudden you guys are working together to resolve issues. And this is one of the major reasons why I'm able to help people get where they want to go in 2 to 6 months, eliminate the symptoms, eliminate the unconscious blocks, eliminate and bring their inner world into alignment, and really just reconstruct what they want reconstructed, and really upgrade their systems. It does not take a long time, because this whole thing is moving at the speed of electricity. And so when you just help it a little bit, it's off and running. But when you can work with it and craft it, and you can stand here and help each part out, and if you give them what they want, they will turn and help you get what you want, and they will help you get it quickly. And so that's really the information I want to share, that these the reminiscing, the fantasies, all of that stuff is really a very important part of you, and that I really don't want you to demonize or be afraid of. But I know that we're socialized and um, conditioned to do that. But I'm telling you, there is another way that can really feel great and amazing to you and can really help you get huge breakthroughs because you're actually working with your brain very, very powerfully. So, and if that's something that you want my help with, I have two opportunities to work with me. One is an intensive 8 week where we do those three things. We eliminate symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress at the root. And this is ways that your childhood and other massive events, big events, can really have taken a toll and made it very difficult for you to really reach your goals and live the life of your dreams. And so we want to resolve those. And also clear unconscious blocks and limitations. All of everything, we just find them. It's really kind of fun there. And then also really do the work systematically to go through all areas of your life and bring everything into alignment with your dream, with where you want to be, the outcome you want to see in your life, and really get you going in that direction. And then I have a second opportunity that is less intensive, and it's the foundational work. It teaches you the interventions and how to resolve, how to look through your life and see what's going on, assess it, and really get your inner world on board, heal the any past emotions, events, and just really get you nice and skilled and ready to go. And we do a lot of eliminating symptoms and stressors and make your life better and easier because these things drain you. It's like you're trying to move forward with 10 backpacks on. And so both of these programs deal with unpacking all that stuff. And then one is a complete, get to the dream life package. And the other one is really just really take some backpacks off and then see what you want to do. you know, both are, I mean, phenomenal experiences. And when you can walk away reconnected and working with the parts of your brain, and really, that's one of the things that gives my clients most of their confidence. And they know that they can help themselves no matter what comes up, which is really one of the fun things that they're always saying. So, because you're working with your brain, and you have you have the top interventions in the country, and not just looking for, needing and being dependent on a therapist or a professional to help you with this. You really can follow the simple strategies that I've laid out to really take care of yourself, all aspects of you for the rest of your life. And so that's really powerful. You can go to my website. I've added a link there that will take you um, to a page on my site that will let you know more details about these two opportunities to work with me. And if this is the right fit for you, we will get started right away. Send me a message and we'll chat. And then, so if you have any questions about what I shared, go ahead and post those. I see Christine says, oh, she's got to text me more. Yes, I can't wait to hear. And then, oh, you're welcome. And thank you for your wisdom. You're welcome. She's awesome. Let me give her a shout out here because it's fun. I know Christine because she helps people clear clutter and in their homes, right? And so I feel this resonance with her because I help people clear clutter in their brains. And so I like to hear what she has to say and her perspectives. Plus, she's just nice. She's one of those nice people that you're just like, oh, around, So anyway, she's really fun. She helps clear clutter. She should really post your link because you know people ask me sometimes, they say, I'm doing this program. Can I still work with you? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to help you get better results in your program. Whether it's with, I've had people come in who have done some really intense, like toxic mold. One of my clients was doing a toxic mold protocol that was really important for um, her physical health, right? But she also knew that she was staying in fight, flight, freeze, or faint. And so she knew that she needed to deal with the emotional stuff that was going on in order to increase her ability to heal physically. And she was absolutely right. She's doing phenomenal. But we integrated both, and we put her brain to helping her achieve. Brought her brain into alignment with her achieving her health and wellness goals, and she's doing phenomenal. And as a matter of fact, she's got enough strength now that and physical wellness that she started her own business. And I mean, she's just rocking. So sometimes we just need, experts in our corner. Like who the heck knows how to freaking clean a house? I don't. I'm good with brains. I can help you clean your brain, but your house, no. I can help you resolve the survival level distress that's activated every time you're looking at the things in your house. Maybe Christina and I need to do live together. Because if you're looking at items in your house and your stomach is dropping out or your heart is racing, that is what I help people with. If you're if you are laying in bed at night fantasizing about taking everything to the dump and dropping it off, right now your subconscious mind, you're playing with your fantasies. That I help you with. But I have absolutely no idea how to walk somebody from start to finish and declutter their house and build systems in so that it doesn't happen again. I don't do that. I do that with your brain. I help you from start to finish, declutter and organize and bring into alignment and build the systems so that it doesn't happen again. That's what I do. Anyway, there she is. She's a creating calm coach, and she is phenomenal. She really helps out, helps women do great things. Anyway, um, that's all I've got. That was fun. So I hope the messages that you're picking up for me are, let me get here. Um, Pay attention to your fantasies. And it's not that I want you to pay attention to your fantasies so much. I want you to pay attention to your subconscious mind. You know, a lot of times our inner world, our survival system, our body, like a lot of times they will send bigger, stronger, more devastating messages because you're not listening. And if you, I have a live interview with one of my clients, Corinne, and she talks about this. One of the massive breakthroughs she had was because in her panic disorder, she really started to listen to her body. And all of a sudden, that was one of the ways that we were able to bring down the intensity and really get in there. I mean, if it was a lot of fun. Anyway, um, that's all. I think that's it. Wonderful hanging out with you guys tonight. And yeah, let's go. Get what you need. There's the interventions. Be interested in them. Learn what you need to learn. If you're like, I am not, if you're anything like me, like this is why I hire coaches because I'm not gonna learn everything there is to know about that. I want the result, not the whole like 10 years of knowledge finding. No. And so, if that's really you, just send me a message, and if this is something you want to do with me, we can absolutely do that. I can make sure that you're getting the results and that you're picking up all the nuances and that you get your result quickly. Okay, so good night everyone, talk to you later. Bye.